What's going on, traders? Welcome back to Start Swing Trade. And yes, it's been that type of day where you're just looking at the market and saying, what happened? We were ripping. Well, let's talk a little bit about it. Now we're actually below the opening price on the SPY. Let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at the SPY and see what we're seeing here. And you guys can see it. I'll go to my main charts here. Let's go to the SPY, and you guys are seeing that pullback actually happen here now. And it just seems like we're just kind of staying within a support of the 445 range, but we could easily just come right back down into kind of below the 445. But it was a nice little push back towards the resistance in just 3 days. So we were talking about how we would stay in this kind of chop with this trend line. We're right back to the top side of this and looking to push towards the upside. Of course, bigger stocks coming right back today. Meta up there to 308. I thought Threads could really get this going back through 300. Now you're back there towards 308. That was from 295 yesterday. So Meta continuing the lift. And of course, Threads. And what do you see today? Hey guys. I just want to kind of put this out there, right? I don't do this too often, and it's not to make them look bad or anything. But who was talking about Threads and how you would start to see what? You would start to see advertisers start to move over to taking a look there at what? At switching over to Threads. And what do you see today on the front page of CNBC? Well, there you guys see it. As Twitter continues to implode, advertisers pin their hopes on Threads. So what does that tell me? Well, that tells me that, hey, this is why you listen right here on Start Swing Trade, to get ahead of the game, right? That's what it's all about, trying to stay ahead of the game. And I've been looking at that, and I can immediately look at that and see it, right? We've talked about it, how advertisers went away from Twitter because of what? Because of Elon, of course. He's the actual one that made, some of these advertisers go away from Twitter. Now they're looking at Zuck and being like, you know what? I know you're not probably going to go ahead and keep us out of here. So there we go. We'll go over to Threads. And I think that that's going to continue to help Meta go higher. And if anything, I'm just happy that Twitter isn't public, because if it was right now, I'm sure we would be coming after it for some short side action. That's probably something that I don't think many people are thinking about. But Twitter is private now, so we can't go shorting it. But I'll tell you one thing. I'd rather be long Meta right now than long Twitter. All right, let's keep going. We'll talk about some other action in the market. It's good to see you guys out there. Raz, Gabe, Jay Rice, what's going on? Sergeant, how we doing out in the market? Seems like it was an interesting day today. We'll take a look at that. System of a down? Oh, I love a little system of a down. All right, let's keep going. We'll take a look at what else is moving in the market today. It wasn't a bad day for me. I actually started the day in the red, was able to bounce back in the green, and we'll talk a little bit about that. It was really all based on a little small day trade action that did get a huge pop. I had this one from 11, sold it up there towards 1250s. Didn't do too bad there on that RXRX, but it did come right back down. So I'm leaving this one alone. We'll see what happens. It was a good little penny stock one there. Man, no one has ever given me a shout out before. Janie, what's going on? Come on, we got to get you a little bit of a shout out there. You've been doing pretty well. How's the action in the different stocks that you've been holding? I think you're the one. You have Riot, right? How'd that one do today? I know it's starting to pull back. I was keeping an eye on it. Now it's starting to pull back to 1750s. We'll see what happens there. And let's see if the market can continue to drive higher, right? It's starting to pull back, though, especially as you're seeing Mara pull back in this action. I did take some profits today, guys. I had to take some profits in BJ as it started to come up and it's kind of rejecting the gap zone. So I already took some profits. I could take it all off here because it could just pull back there towards my 63 entry. But we'll look to see if BJ can continue the lift. Not looking too bad there. The cruise line's killing you today, and we'll take a look at the cruise lines. I've been looking for a little bit of a pullback. Doesn't mean that it's ever going to just completely crumble, but definitely some pullback action there. Another one that I had to kind of think about today, and it was looking so good out the gates. I was like, no lie, there's sometimes where you feel like you're patting your back. I was patting my back, and then I came back after lunch and was just like, What the hell happened to Deer here? Look at Deer, guys. It was up there to 417 today, just yesterday. We were taking profits, right? Taking some profits, looking for the continued move through 410. Well, today it got up there towards a high in the pre-market of 418.60s. I thought we'd get the 420 really quickly. Well, quick little turnaround there. It did go into this gap spot there and where I kind of had put this up there. So maybe I got a little bit greedy, right? I had created this on June 30th, looking for the push up there towards kind of 422s. But in the 416s, might have been the better area to take the profits there on Deer as we got a quick little pullback today. Cat pulling back also. It seems like industrials pulled back hard today, and you guys can see it. It's actually the leading sector to the downside today. So why did industrials pull back today? Well, I don't think we have that answer, but one thing that we could clearly see, it wasn't only in Deer, right? It was all around. Boeing pulling back a little bit today, down about 0.73. Deere was down about 2%, but there's some other names here that were also down. ADP down about 1.4%. Keeping an eye out on the airlines. Airlines definitely getting a little bit of a pullback action today, also in the industrial space. So we'll see if these can continue to pull back and I can get an entry for pullback on the airlines. But for right now, industrials with a quick pullback. This has been the hottest area. So I know that a lot of people have been talking about technology lately, but really since June, industrials have actually been hotter than kind of technology. And you can see it here off the sector. This is an equally weighted outlook. This is 10% move since there in June. And then if you look here from technology, it's only going to be what? A 5.63% move in the sector. So that shows me keep my eye to see if we get some pullback opportunities in that industrial game. Also, healthcare on the downside today. We'll see what happens to names like that. I've been keeping an eye on the big drug manufacturers. Where those going to continue to crack? Lilly bouncing a little bit today, but this doesn't look good by any means. If you wanted this to bounce back quickly, it needed to get back above the 445 into the 450s. It looks like it's slowly leaking to the downside. So drug manufacturers, I'm going to be staying away for a little bit of a while there. Johnson & Johnson heading to the downside. Merck going down lower. AZN is in the green. That's one that I'd maybe even look for a short. Pfizer could go lower through the daily lows. I don't like Pfizer one bit. I don't like a lot of these names here in the drug manufacturers, especially the bigger ones. They look like it's turning around. Even AbbVie that was starting to make a little bit of an up move, now starting to come right back to the downside. So be careful there in the drug manufacturers. Crassy saying I might try some UAL and DAL on earnings tomorrow. Yeah, maybe the earnings keep it higher, or maybe we get a little bit of a pullback and an opportunity. Mystery Man asking a question here. I'll take a look at it from the chat. Hey, Mitch, I've noticed that if the CPI is light, usually PPI is light as well, and vice versa. Would you say this is an accurate assessment? What I would say there is look into how PPI could be more leading than CPI. And so that's one thing that I would state is that CPI doesn't always lead PPI. PPI kind of leads CPI. And so when we get a hot PPI report, we start looking at the next CPI report that it could be hot. PPI sometimes is looked at as a leading indicator, while CPI is looked at a lagging indicator. So that's one thing that I would try to explain there, Mystery Man. And of course, do your research on this. And it's not a bad outlook that you were trying to catch a pattern like this. This is good stuff. I think this is important to try to think about. And if you're starting to see a pattern, well, maybe you can trade that pattern. But for right now, I would be a little bit careful thinking that CPI leads PPI. I would think it's the opposite, at least from what I've known. PPI is forward looking, CPI more of that lag. All right, let's keep going. We'll take a look at some other stocks out there. I see you guys in the chat. Every time I hear BJ, I think about the restaurants. Yeah, and they do have the restaurant BJ. I think that is a stock there. I forgot the restaurant stock there. Oh, it's BJRI. There you go. That's why I love my service here, and there you go. This is that restaurant one that you're talking about in the chat. That's BJRI versus BJ, the wholesale one, right? And it's kind of interesting that they're able to have that similar name yet still do well. And this one's actually performing well right now. Restaurants have really started to take off, and I think this is the outlook that. Nah, I don't think we're seeing a recession anytime soon. So keep your eyes on it. Nice little lift off here in BJRI. And I keep my eye to see if some other ones take a lift. What about the Cake Factory, the Cheesecake Factory? Looks like it's getting a little bit of a lift. Looks like we are getting restaurants to make a move. Of course, restaurants are in, of course. We're talking now consumer cyclicals. And they do look strong right now. Restaurants have been climbing here. Keep your eyes on some of these names. Of course, leaders in restaurants, McDonald's, Starbucks coming back, CMG, Yum. Those look like they're doing pretty well. DRI. Of course, Domino's had a huge run today. Huge run on that announcement that they were going to be allowing users to go ahead and order off of Uber Eats. So there you guys. If you guys are Domino's pizza fans, now you can order it through Uber Eats. All right, catching up in the chat. We'll take a look at some of those names that you guys are mentioning. Let's keep it going, team. Smash the like. RXRX, smoked tuna. I made some good money on that RXRX. I lost some and then made some. So I lost some at first. I lost like 55, but then was able to make like a little bit over 300 on it. So RXRX, not a bad little move there. Let's keep it going here, team. MVIS mentioned in the chat. I don't mind taking a look at that one. Why? Because we had a swing trade on in solid state batteries. And that was in what? That was in QS. QS is up there to 1021. I was playing this one below sevens. Look at the run on this one, man. The one red day is when I sold it. And I should have just stuck with the trend. Stuck with the 9 EMA and waited for that to break and price to break that. Just keep riding the trend higher. And I could have had a, continued move. I got like 20% on this, but really should have been looking at more like 50% win on QuantumScape. So MBIS, I feel like it's just starting to get going here. I'd like to push off the 425s. Really want to see it get back there to 5. I'll probably day trade it when it starts to get above the 465s. So I'm going to go ahead and send an alert here. I could maybe take a swing trade on MBIS, but I'm not in so much of the fundamentals into MVIS as I am in QuantumScape. And I really believe the story in QuantumScape. Don't believe too much the story in Microvision. But then, of course, you guys determine which story you guys like. Technically, this is looking better than QS now because it still hasn't gone, right? QS is already ripped through the moon, and I don't see that turning around anytime soon. Of course, I'll mention it again. Why was I looking at solid state batteries? Of course, Toyota mentions. All right, let's keep going. We'll take a look at some other action. Open. Anyone play Open? Sympathy from Redfin. There you go, Seek. And that's what I love to hear. We were just talking yesterday about how Open started getting going off of the Zillow mention, ZG, of course, and Zillow getting another update. Well, there goes Open. And why not look at Redfin, right? I like that mentality. And there was mentioned yesterday right here on this show, someone in the chat mentioned Redfin. That's what I love to see in the chat. That's what you guys are here for, talking about relationships and even mentioning them to me. Yesterday, I was going through them. I was like, why not Open? Why not Rocket? I even talked about how Rocket could get going. Look how Rocket's up there to 1040s now and continuing to go. This is why it's so important to catch this, right? UWMC is another one that maybe starts to get going, and there you guys see it. Has a good day today. So we are start seeing a nice little move in real estate and talking about that, hey, these stocks can continue to run. Redfin, I don't think it's run way too much for me. I think that this is all based on Zillow Group getting that nice little lift. And when Zillow gets the lift, look for Redfin Corporation to get the lift, right? And we had that opportunity yesterday. Look at that nice move on that lift out the gates there, 10 a.m., pushing from 10 a.m. all the way into the close. And that was a 23% move. Not bad at all. Good move there. All right, let's keep going. We're going to go to some other stocks there. Carvana hit 44.60 today. Is that true? Woo. Yeah, that was a big move there on Carvana. And those shorts out there, you got to be careful. You get your face ripped off on Carvana. All right, let's keep going. We'll go to some stocks out there. Let's go to the utilities. It's actually the leading sector to the upside today. Of course, utilities, we talk about this. Those are names like Duke and names like Nextera. So NEE, you can maybe start looking for a little bit of a comeback. Maybe like an undercut and rallies type of trade. Maybe you're setting the kind of the bottom around here, around the 72.50s, looking for this to get back to 76. Not really my style of trade there, but I'll leave it alone for right now. We'll see if it keeps moving. Basic materials was one area that I was watching today, and I was taking a look here to see which ones could I get. And of course, I picked the wrong industry. What's in the green there? Silver's in the green. Gold is in the green. Aluminum is in the green. Lumber is in the green. Steel is in the green. Paper is in the green. Specialty chemicals is in the green. Copper's in the green. Chemicals, metals in the green, building materials. And then, of course, we get to the two industries in basic materials that are red. Agricultural inputs. What are those names? Those are names like MOS. And you got some other names there too. You can look at CTVA and CF to see what happens here. And I could see these start to take a lift because I did hear some mention on potash. But just keep your eyes on those names. Those are what usually affects that. But I went after the coal names, and man, did I get caught there in that BTU, taking a big hit today on BTU, and it was looking good. Out the gates, it got a nice little pop. I thought it was going to be able to pull back towards around 22.25s and then get that lift back through 22.50s. And it was not the move for me. I actually got hit on this name today on the day trade. And that's how it is sometimes, team. Even though the daily setup was looking really nice, was looking for that continuation move above the 22.50s. It just didn't happen today. And X coming back there. That one staying a little bit stronger on the day. That's the U.S. Steel. We'll see what happens there. I'm looking at Steel Dynamics as names to keep an eye out for. We'll look to see if steel can keep going. But copper, definitely getting the pullback today. And of course, what happened now? You're starting to see a little leak in energy. I'm keeping an eye out on this because I want to see a nice little pullback in certain stocks to maybe even go long on some of these oil names. I'd look for some pullbacks back towards like 105 and then look to see if I can get long on XOM. Chevron already back there to 160. Big resistance right there. Now I'll be looking for that to kind of act as support. That's going to be a 159 support. We'll see if it starts to hold up as prior resistance. All right, we'll keep going. We'll take a look at that. I can take a look at Fubo, Jenny. I have no problem taking a look at it. Of course, I've talked about Fubo in the past, so we can talk about it. All right, let's keep going. We'll go into a different area. Let's get out of basic materials. Let's go to technology. Technology stocks, of course, the leading stocks. NVIDIA having a good day. Meta having a good day. Apple staying green, and I think that's a really good outlook. Microsoft staying green. Not as much as you would expect Microsoft to get the lift today. I don't know if you guys caught on the news, but of course, there was some cybersecurity mentions from Microsoft, and that's what was affecting PanW. I was wondering why PanW was getting the washout and why was ZS getting hit so hard. And then now I know Microsoft mentions, right, of cybersecurity and stepping into the space. Well, yeah, that's going to hit the kind of the leader there, PanW, because they think that they have this amount of market share and it might have just gotten a little bit smaller. CrowdStrike, very similar stock, right? I was looking for this one to pull back into the daily levels, but that pullback with a negative mention in the industry, not what I want to see. This could go lower. We'll see if PanW can get back there to 200. If it can get back to 200, 226, that's 50% retracement of the move. We'll see if that holds at 225 levels. But man, big wipeout there in PanW, down about 8% on the day. From the open, it's down about 7.36. So not good move there. All right, Money Mitch, also a big cyber attack by China. I mean, China does those big cyber attacks all the time, and I've seen that mentioned all the time, and like North Korea hackers, things like that. But really, you mentioned cybersecurity. We're one of the biggest stocks in the market. They're going to go hitting some of the other ones, right? And we'll see if Microsoft can continue lifting to the next level. All right, let's keep going in technology. We can keep looking at some different areas. Solar was one area that I was able to play today. And what did I play? I played FSLR. I talked about this yesterday, how you could start seeing solar go to the upside. Why? Because energy now starting to go to the upside. So something to keep in mind, right? As energy goes up, a lot of the times for some reason, we get solar to go up also. It doesn't make sense to me a lot of the times, but sometimes things don't need to make sense. I just need to know the pattern, right? First Solar was a play today. It was a really nice kind of symmetrical triangle that I was able to come after it. I'm going to put it full screen here so you guys can see this play. It was kind of going chopping up and down, and that's exactly what we want to see here in a kind of play like this, right? So I want to see that up one, down one, up two, down two, up three. You get this down three, and at that point, we don't want to see that break. So once I started seeing this kind of 195.95 holding, that looked really good here for FSLR to make the move to the upside. And it was a nice little run there towards 196.75. Not doing too bad on that. I think the final sale that I had on FSLR, let me go ahead and get that for you. That was 194.58. So not too bad on that as it started to come back down from that run in the 196. I said, you know what? I'll take my profits and run. But it was a pretty good trade there. And we were also talking about EMPH in this VWAP test of it going higher through the resistance. It did go higher, eventually pulling back and taking it right back to those levels. We'll see what happens here on EMPH and some of these solar stocks. Yes, it's all about the patterns. Yes, you got to be able to nail that. And if you're able to nail those, it's definitely going to help you push forward. All right, let's keep going. We'll take a look at some other stocks, but definitely solar stocks, not a bad move on the day. All right, semiconductors right behind that. And of course, we did have some that are still in the green and doing well. AVGO bouncing back today. NVIDIA having a good day today. TSM having a good day. Intel team. I did get out of this one at the 32s when this started coming down from 33s, but we're back to 34s. And really, I mean, we need a good report from Intel, but if we could get a good report, can we be back there towards 36 and kind of continuing to go? This is definitely one that I'd keep on my radar. This one could keep riding higher. So I'll be looking for pullbacks, opportunities on Intel, maybe below 3360s, and then trying to hold 3350s on pullbacks. But really nice day there for Intel today. Qualcomm up there towards 119. Don't forget, of course, we will have Qualcomm on tomorrow, our AI event. That starts at 11 a.m. Eastern. I'll be there doing 2 interviews, and I want to see you guys there. So don't miss that. That's at 11 a.m. Eastern tomorrow, right here, of course, on Benzinga. All right, what's going on out there, Beans? Oh my God, what a day. Money was made today, boys, and that's what I love to hear. And just, you know what? I got you, my friend. We'll do a little money talk there, man. Bow, bow. Get that money, Beans. That's what we're here for at the end of the day. You know how we got to get it while it's hot. And it looks like you were able to get it yourself, my friend. And I will tell you guys that around. Keep pushing, team. These are days where there's some days where I talk about it, team, and it's all about what? Doing what? As day trading and swing trading, we need to know when we hit the brake pedal and when to hit that gas pedal. Today, as a day trader, I'm sure you were hitting that gas pedal as it seemed like we got a nice little lift off. We'll see what happens. But good to see that, Beans. Way to nail it. All right, let's keep going. We'll take a look at some different stocks. Of course, ARBK. Argo blockchain finally getting the lift. This is not a bad one to keep on watch. And kind of a sleeper in the blockchain. Now starting to get a nice little push. Nice one, Beans. Wish you would have told me about this one yesterday, my friend. Nah, I'm just joking with you. It happens, man. And we'll see if Hut and some of those names can continue climbing higher, Mara and things like that. I could see a little bit of a pullback. We'll see if it can continue climbing to the upside. All right. In technology, of course, we could keep working our way down. We can take a look at some solar names and some software names. We can take a look here how those are performing. Of course, yesterday I was in Oracle to the upside, looking for a big move towards the trend line. And we got that out the gates today. Definitely a failed execution trade on me. Sometimes I'm going to do them well. Sometimes I'm going to do them bad. This was a bad one, a really good outlook. Gap down below, using that as the out area and looking for a move higher, at least a 3-to-1 outlook. We were in the 114s. Maybe we're risking about a full point. That's down to the 113s, but 3 points higher from that 114, a 117 move, and we got to 118.09 today. That could have been a definitely good trade there on Oracle. We'll see what happens there on Oracle if it can catch the lift here and continue to the upside, but not a bad move there. CRM continuing after mentions yesterday of good products and continuing to the upside. And there you guys see it now up there to 227. Salesforce kicking ass, let's just be honest, and looking like it wants to keep going. With this one, I thought that maybe Cisco could keep going, but Cisco pulled back pretty fast today. Adobe still in the red right now from the open, but I'm going to keep my eye on this because I feel like Adobe can just keep climbing, and it's going to be one of the best in regenerative AI, of course. Smashing that like. That's what I love to hear. Let's keep going. TXN, I'll take a look at that for Texas Instruments. I don't normally look at Texas Instruments. It's a little slower, but does this look bad? By no means, right? I mean, just look at the monthly. The monthly got above this level and now starting to hold the pullback. And so I really like when stocks do that, when you try to get above the levels and you come back and then now you're starting to clear that level. And so right now, I wouldn't want to see this break the low. The low right now is 173.08. So if I wanted to, I could put this down towards like maybe the low there, 172.98, 173 being that support. Wouldn't want to see that break and would want to see this continue to climb from here. It is looking like it's trying to get that lift. Next levels to watch is going to be a move to 185. That'd be the next stop for me. That'd be kind of a triple top in this area. And we'll look to see if we can get back up there to 184, 185 spot on TXN. It looks good. We'll see if it keeps going. All right, let's keep going. We'll take a look outside of the software applications. How did Unity do today? I did want to take a little peek at Unity. Shopify going higher. Unity, kind of a nice little inside day, right? I love how it pulled back towards support, then came back. It's in the middle of the line and could take off to the next level. Let's take a look at Snow kind of pulling back there after getting that hit there. And another one that I wanted to take a look at here. Let's take a look at what did well. I saw there was one that was definitely catching my attention here. Mobileye did well today. Coin pulled back significantly here. So just be careful with that type of trade. Looks like that rebalance trade came off pretty quickly also. All right, let's see what other names are being called out in the chat. Financial services continuing to climb. I saw JPM Strong earlier, was looking to see if it was going to bounce to the upside. I don't think this is going to bounce to the upside. I think it only has about 1 day left, right? And then we get the bank earnings on Friday. On Thursday, we'll be getting over to kind of Delta and different stocks like that. So keep your eyes on it. That could pull back the airlines. Will we see a turnaround in this market after trying to rip to the upside? It seems like we're in this Goldilocks scenario where the bubble could drive us higher, but we really need what to turn us around? We need some true negative earnings, some true negative catalysts to really turn this boat to the downside. Right now, it's seeming like the tide is lifting all boats right now. Smash the like button out there, guys. If you guys are enjoying the stream or just joining in, hit the like. We're having some good times. And if you guys got a stock you guys want to check out, throw it up in the chat. All right, let's take a look at what else is making moves on the day. Let's look at the top moves in the queues here today. And the EMPH really quickly stands out to me there. Meta stands out to me, and we talked a little bit about these names already. Dexcom, another move higher. We talked about Dexcom and how this is one of my favorites in diagnostics and research and has good commercials, has stayed strong. I can see this one continuing to lift. Doesn't look bad by any means. Excel Energy, part of the utility names that went higher today. You got Moderna bouncing back a little bit today. This one's interesting, and definitely I think there's some bigger traders probably be getting in this around the 120 area. The only question is, can it actually turn around the story that is Moderna? All right, let's keep going. We'll take a look at some other action. Costco continuing to the upside. That makes me feel confident that BJ's can keep going. So I talked about it that I wanted to see Costco get right back to the upside. It looks good there. Walmart, I wanted to see get back to the upside today. Let's see how that one's doing. It's still kind of hanging in there. Need to see a move back up above 156 to get a little bit confidence in Walmart. All right, how did Ford and GM perform today? I think this is something to keep an eye out for. The negotiations between the United Auto Workers and Detroit automakers formally kicked off on Wednesday. The UAW president has vowed to be aggressive in bargaining against General Motors and Ford Motors, also Stellantis included in this, for new worker contracts. I know that the stock wasn't moving on this in the pre-market, and some might have not deemed it as important. Well, I can tell you at least last times in the last round of bargaining in 2019, a breakdown in negotiations between GM led to a 40-day strike against GM that cost the automaker $3.6 billion. So if there is a strike, I could see these stocks coming down in a hurry after recently lifting in a hurry. So just be careful in Ford and GM. I can see them taking a major hit if they do go into strike. We'll see what happens there. All right, let's keep going. We'll see what else are mentioned in the chat. XOM long. I mean, I don't mind the mentality. I'm looking for it. I just need a little bit of a pullback, right? Because it just recently did that nice little move from the bottom there around the 102s up there to 107s. So pull back into, let's say, 105s or slightly below 104.75, somewhere in that area. I'll look for a pullback on XOM. All right, let's keep going. We'll see what other names are being mentioned in the chat. How did Coty do today? Of course, that's the Kim Kardashian mentioned today, as it looked like the company bought a minority stake in Kim Kardashian's skin by Kim 3 years ago from the celebrity, and it was popping this morning after the move comes after the Wall Street Journal reported that Kardashian is in talks of buying back the stake. So it's actually getting hit pretty hard here on the open market. Let's go to Rivian. I got you, Raz. Rivian is continuing to the upside here. And this was one that back in the days I talked about, if I could get this into like the 7 or 8 handle or close to 10, I would take Rivian by a long shot, because the truth is, I don't know if you guys have seen the Rivian SUV and the truck, but the truck is really nice. I love the Rivian truck. Honestly, I would want to drive it. I think it needs a little bit more mileage to really get adopted, but it's not a bad looking truck. So if you guys haven't seen that Rivian truck, definitely take a look into it. I think Rivian could stay a little bit strong here, maybe a little bit higher, maybe get towards 33. I'll be looking for pullbacks, but I really want to get this down there, right? Down by like $12, $10. It just never got towards 10. All right, Kevin, it's good to see you in the chat. Appreciate your message in the chat, giving me a little love. And that's what it's all about. To tell you the truth, if there's any way that I can give back to you guys and push you guys forward in your financial journey, that's what I'm here for. All right, let's keep going. We'll go to other stocks out there, but Oxy kind of broke out on the daily. Yeah, I think Oxy's a little bit ahead of the gun, and we could be hearing that Warren added to his position, so Oxy could keep continuing to the upside, right? For a long time, everyone was like, well, Warren will save Oxy. Warren will save Oxy, and he did. And now that oil is starting to make an upside move, you could see some upside move in Oxy. And for that being mentioned, take a look at the energy names, because I think there's going to be some other names here that we can watch too. it's not just going to be XOM, right? There's going to be different names here that could get the lift. BP is at the support there. 35 has been really kind of sleepy, could just start pushing off of those levels. PBR recently has pulled back there from a nice little run there towards 15. Now it's kind of been a bull flag and could just start kind of getting right back to the upside, back above 14. And so these are just names to keep an eye out for. We'll look to see if these can really start to lift. EOG is one that's starting to lift that looks strong. This looks pretty good here. If you take a look here on the weekly had that pullback. It came back, pushed up there, had that in-between week last week, now really starting to get going. So EOG is definitely one that I'd keep on my radar for more upside. You got MPC, that is one that I'd watch. Marathon Petroleum Corp coming back, and PXD. Why not this one, right? I think even Dennis has been watching this one for a while. I really like the weekly chart in PXD. This one actually might be one that I take a swing trade already. It can look for a little bit of a pullback, but really nice move there towards 216. Look for a pullback, maybe back towards 210s, but looking hot right now. Pioneer Natural Resources. All right, take a look at the metals X FCX, all rallying, inflation to the moon. We'll see if inflation comes back, but definitely you need to see these kind of push higher for us to think that inflation's coming back, but definitely can push to the next level. All right, we'll see what else are being mentioned out there. Crocs, you get any money, Mitch? No, I didn't get Crocs yesterday, but I talked about it. I don't know if you were here, Jay, yesterday, but I did talk about how I was out at the outlets, and man, Crocs was packed. I talked about it. I mean, I didn't go in there personally to buy shoes, but I mean, to each his own. If you guys like shoes with holes in them, that's all you guys out there. But yeah, it's looking hot, man, and it's really starting to get going back towards the upside. Push through that 120 today. And with that being mentioned, let's see if Nike starts making a move back up, right? DEC has really been the leader. Look for that to continue moving. Was keeping an eye out also on the Skechers to see whatever is going to happen to the Skechers. Is it going to make a lift up, or is it just going to crack 50 on the downside action? We'll see what happens there in Skechers. Who does New Balance? Does New Balance in a public stock? I don't know. I'm just literally just spitballing right here. But hey, we'll see what else is going on. Can't go with those holes. Yeah, man. I can't do shoes with holes. I don't know. I just can't do it. Extra ventilation. More like extra holes for things to fall on my foot. But that's just probably me because I'm clumsy. All right, let's keep going. We'll talk about some other stocks here and take a look to see if there's any trade setups that we like. Netflix is one that I'm keeping an eye out for. I think this one could make a run there towards 450s. And then if it makes the run for 450s, I like maybe potentially 500 coming up. I did see mentions in the chat, and I saw ratings on Netflix that I think are very important to keep an eye out for. Netflix has been doing pretty well as of late and could keep pushing. This morning went down there towards around the 440s, started bouncing. This doesn't look too bad. Starting to push now to 445. We'll just get to 450s and 500. Who knows? Doesn't look too bad there. And Netflix has been a real climb back. Grab Roblox with the meta news. Been a snoozer, though. Yeah, Roblox has started to go, though. It actually doesn't look too bad. A nice little inside day today. I'll be looking for this to take out 44. If this could take out 44 with another update in the market tomorrow, yeah, why not Roblox to go higher? ARKK now starting to get a little bit of strength after a little bit of a pullback day and could pull back a little bit further. There's been a lot of stocks that have been strong in ARKK. Roku is one of those names, of course. And lately, what did Roku mention? Well, just yesterday, they mentioned a partnership with who? With Shopify, of course. And what starts going higher? Shopify towards 66.49. Still killing myself that I didn't buy this at 40. I talked about how Shopify is a really good service. I think overall, I think a lot of people are moving to Shopify over even Amazon sometimes. So we'll see what happens there in Shopify. If it could really get moving towards the 70s, but doesn't look bad by any means. Melly is another one that I keep a watch out for. Mercado Libre. Usually when Melly starts doing well. Shop does well. Amazon does well. We'll keep an eye out on those. Amazon with a nice little lift there today towards 130.80. Looks like Prime Day wasn't too bad of a bet there, guys, as this continues higher today. And definitely, we'll look for this to kind of keep holding. 9 EMA pullbacks, that's been holding well. Now you're keeping the trend. Now you can keep pushing. Will Amazon be right back up there towards 145 soon enough? It could be. And what happened here? Bullish cross, right? Everybody hates my bullish cross, but I mean, at the end of the day, the stocks have been moving since those bullish crosses, right? Apple, bullish cross, took off to the upside. Microsoft, bullish cross right here, took off to the upside. Nvidia, bullish cross happened over here. It took off to the upside. I know you guys hate the bullish cross, but does the trend speak for themselves? I would say hell yeah. I don't know about you guys. All right, guys, it's 4:13. I went a little bit extra time there for you guys, so do me the favor. Smash the like if you guys appreciate me going even extra time here. Normally, I stop it at 4 o'clock, but I know I started the show a little bit later today, so I wanted to keep it going for you guys. Let's take a look at the market overall. We're closed up. Right now, we're just sitting at 446, 23s, and still looking strong. We pulled back multiple times to that 445 level. That'll be my level to watch for tomorrow to see if we cut that down. But like always, you guys can catch me on pre-market prep, of course. Smash the like. I'll see you guys in the morning. And don't forget, AI event tomorrow. Don't want to miss it. Starts at 11 a.m. right here, only on Benzinga. Smash the like, guys. I hope you guys have a great night and stay safe out there. Time to see. I got a little baseball game. Let me see if I can get a little blast today. We'll find out.